think it's quite unusual, us both sitting here, because we're not the sort of normal conventional actors.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things people would like to know is, you know, how you got into it. What made you decide to be an actor?
I just fell into it, really. Like, probably we all do, don't we, when we come from the flats where we come from and whatever. We're told that we can't really do these sort of things. But in my situation, in 1986, and I won't go into this too much, I'll just paraphrase it because it's a long story, a long story. I got arrested for a murder, 2 attempted murders and an armed robbery, which I was totally fitted up by the police. They totally fitted me up. I don't know why they'd done it, still don't know why they'd done it. Anyway, I was on remand as an ACAT for 3.5 months. And then an alibi come out. I mean, this is all part of the long story, which I can go on for an hour on this one. But then, anyway, cut a long story short, I got out of it. And I started getting a little bit paranoid about how the establishment can actually just lift you off the streets. So I decided to go travelling. So I lived in Israel and Egypt for 2 years. I got involved in music out there because I played the guitar and I started busking and I got involved with a band, joined a band, started gigging around there, and I've got a bug with the gigging and the bit of music.
When you say you lived in Israel, what, like a kibbutz type of thing, or?
Well, that's another funny story. I did, yeah. I started on a kibbutz, but they kicked me off after 6 months.
Right.
For
tell us about that, Ed. What happened on the kibbutz?
Well, I've just been released from this thing that I've just told you about. I'm in Israel on a kibbutz. Now, on a kibbutz, what it is, it's a total 100% socialistic, communistic regime. Yeah. Where everyone's got the same thing. Everyone eats together and does the same washing. Everyone, no one's got something that another person ain't got. And what they do, they get people from all over Europe and all over the world called volunteers that go on the kibbutz and pick bananas and oranges. And anyway, I've ended up slipping in. They're all little sort of 18, 22-year-old students and things like that, which I found it a little bit hard to adapt to at the beginning of it, really, after just coming out of where we come from. Yeah. But in the town, there was a little Russian mafia sort of crew who I slipped into. Because, I don't know, we find them, don't we? You just find them, don't you? Yeah. So they asked me if I wanted to go on the kibbutz and start changing all the dollars up for shekels. So that's what I started doing. I started doing all the black market out there on the kibbutz for the shekels and the dollars.
So that's how you sort of nicked your living now?
Well, I didn't have to nick your living. It was just there, everything's done on the kibbutz. They give you all your food, they give you your accommodation, they give you absolutely everything. Yeah. But you just got that radar out, the £1 note, really, haven't you? Anyway, I started changing all the bits and pieces up. They found out, kicked me off the kibbutz. Stuck in Israel, no money, no ticket home. I said I was earning money. I was only earning sort of 30 quid a week, 40 quid a week, changing them up sort of thing, giving them a couple of points over the bank. And I joined a band out there. I started working in a band and ended up living with the Israelis of the band. They were all Israelis, and it ended up learning Hebrew and everything, speaking Hebrew with them and everything. Anyway, I got the pox of that, and I come home to London, formed another band with some people that I grew up with, and that all went pear-shaped. Then I walked into a local theatre company called the London Bubble. Right. Very good setup.
By mistake, or was you looking
No, I was looking for something to do, and I knew this little theatre company was up the road, and I walked in there, and there was a guy called Adrian Jackson, who I'm eternally grateful to now. I just walked straight up to him and said, look, I want to be an actor. Yeah. And he went, well, we're workshopping upstairs, so you might want to come up and see what we're doing, sort of thing. So I ended up going upstairs, sitting on the sidelines. And it was a very middle-class setup. There weren't a lot of people like me in there. So I was sitting at the sidelines watching watching all these people become like aspirins and trees and, you know, the cliche.
When you say aspirin, what?
Well, you know, like they say be an aspirin melting in a glass.
Oh,
and
I've got you.
Fizzled down, like, fizzled down.
So what was you, an aspirin or a tree?
No, I was on the sidelines.
Oh,
I weren't going to have it. I weren't having it. I weren't having it. I thought, this ain't what I want to be. I want to fucking... I want to be on movies.
You don't want to be an aspirin?
I don't know what this is going on here. I don't want to be an aspirin. I want to be a movie star. You know, our concepts of what we're doing. Yeah. Anyway, I said to the fella, the director, I said, look, I'm just going to go out and have a piss. With the full intention of walking out the gaff. Yeah. And never coming back in again. And as I was halfway down the stairs, the fella come over and he said, you are coming back, aren't you? And I went, oh, yeah. Anyway, that night I got cast in a Brecht play, a Bertolt Brecht play, The Respectable Wedding. Okay. And it went from there, really.
So when you say that night, what, because he took a shine to you?
Well, I don't know. It was just, look, I'm a great believer in the law of attraction. I am now. I weren't there then. Yeah. I think we're all synchronised to people throughout our life at some point. I mean, we get given the clues. Whether or not we take the clues is another thing. But that was just at one time where I actually took the clue, really, and was being guided by whatever there was. Then I went to college, where I met Jeff Bell, who's another actor that we both worked with and both know. He was in the same boat as me, and that was it, really.
See, the one thing I thought about you is that I look at you and I know straight away you're authentic, you're the real thing. You know, I'm from the same world as you, but there's not that many people out there. There's a lot of frauds and a lot of, you know, I'm not saying part of acting is being someone else, but you also bring something else to the screen. When you're in the film, you bring obviously your acting ability, but there's a depth with you. And I remember before we ever met, seeing, and I thought, oh, this geezer's real. So obviously you are from that world, even from a little bit.
Well, I come from Bermondsey, you know, and we come from a place where, I mean, you can count on one hand the people that have got into our business where we come from, sort of thing. Yeah. I mean, it's very difficult, very difficult.
What excites you the most, theatre or film?
Film.
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 Definitely.
Film.
Okay. So you're saying to me that film excites you the most, but it's the hardest to get on in. Would you say that?
Well, I mean, if we look to our abilities and things like that and know what we can do, it shouldn't be harder to get on. Yeah. But I don't know how they do it, you know. I don't know how their minds work, really. They see you do movies, they see you can act, they see you do this, and you don't get the opportunities where you've got these other people that maybe go to RADA and go to all these sort of established dramas. I don't know what it is.
Where did you do your training?
I went to a place called Morley College.
Okay.
It was where I got into it late. I actually got into a drama school, WEBBER Douglas, and I didn't want to do the 3 years. I thought, you know, I was 28 or 27, and that got me to 30. So what I've done, I went to Morley College, which was 5 nights a week for 2 years. Yeah. But you don't get an equity number. So I took my guitar and got up on stage and I got my equity card by gigging and busking on stages for 50 quid equity contract. Yeah. It was graft, mate. It was absolute graft.
Do you like singing though?
I love singing. That's me going, really. Yeah. That's me going, you know.
If it was the music industry or filming, you had to choose one. Now, what direction would you go?
Oh, they'd come a very, very close equal. Yeah. Very close equal, yeah. But I'm, you know, too old to do all that now. The music and everything. See, the thing is with the music, I started a band when I was 17. But it's like, I remember my dad, when I was 13, he bought, I was saying to him, I want a guitar. Yeah. And he went out and bought me a guitar. So I had this guitar, but I didn't know what the fuck to do with a guitar, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm looking at it thinking, right, what do I do now? Yeah. And there was no one there to guide me because there weren't no artists or whatever people that had that knowledge to help us. You know, my man was a docker. He'd be out in the docks all day. My mum had 4 kids. She'd be cooking all day. We lived in a 2-bedroom flat in Bermondsey, down the Blue. What do you do with a guitar? So I just pull it down. I tried violin lessons once.
I can't imagine you.
I tried violin lessons, and I half learnt how to play the Beverly Hillbilly.
Oh yeah, I
theme
like
tune,
that.
you know that,
yeah.
But I don't, you know, we never had anybody to sort of, anyone that we respected to guide. I'll tell you a really big story in my life, a really big story in my life. When I was about 12, I used to do music lessons in school. And I loved the music teacher, Mrs. Gregory. I always remember her name. I used to sit with her on the piano and just tinkle the ivories. But my mates, we had a class system. We had Alpha, A, B and C in the classes.
Yeah.
All my mates went to B, but I got put into school on an A, in the A. So I wanted to go down to the Bs, because all my pals were in the Bs. And none of my pals were in the As. So I purposely got myself put down to the Bs. But in the Bs, you don't do music.
Right.
You know, but I think, and the thing that has done me all my life is that this music teacher should have fought to get me back up there, because she saw the potential, you know what I mean? I don't know if it was because of them days they didn't do things like that, but that's a big thing in my life, that moment.
Isn't it a rough and ready London thing though? Because I'm very much the same. Don't we always blame everyone?
Yeah, we do blame everyone, but it don't mean that someone can't be blamed.
No. What I'm saying though is if you really wanted to do it, even at that age,
well, I did.
It's down to you.
Well, I did do it. You know, when I was 16, 17, I started doing in bands and all that, and then I got caught up with my mates that are all up to things, and, you know, and I got caught up with that. This is what I'm saying, that if I would have run into some people that would have said, hey, a lot like the London bubble, or saw a bit of potential or something. It's about seeing a bit of potential, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I remember my old man when I first started my band up and all that. He was going, look, I'm manager, all right? I used to manage Tommy Steele. Right, fan part, you know what I mean? Right, all my mates were going, yeah. You know, in the band, I was going, no, that's a fan part. No, you know. So you have to deal with all that, really, Rick, you know.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, fan pot means, you know, giving you fanny, getting you
he was a typical sort of fan part, you know.
It's a good expression.
He's funny, you know. He used to just sort of, and that was it, really. It was only when I went to college and met my wife, because I met my wife in college. Yeah. Then I become a born-again Christian. Right. You know, which took it to another level, you know. Oh, it was mad. It was
Are you a born-again Christian now?
No, I can't stand Christianity.
You don't like it?
Can't stand it.
Okay.
Can't stand it.
And for what reason?
Because
I mean, what got, just very, in a brief, if there's a brief way of saying it, obviously, because we're going to be strapped for time.
Well, I don't
what got you into Christianity? And what took you away from it?
Well, my wife was a born-again Christian.
Okay.
And she wouldn't go out with anyone who weren't a Christian. Right. So
you become a fan pot.
I become a fan pot Christian. One of them fan pot Christians.
Yeah.
But as I was with her, and I used to go to church with her, all of a sudden I started taking the message of what Jesus was trying to put out. And I still believe it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not into Christianity at all, but I've got the ultimate respect for Jesus, you know, as a man, as a person that spoke sensible things, sort of thing. Then I started working for the church. The church employed me.
Oh, so you actually got work from the church?
I got work, but I got slung out of that as well.
Typical Bermondsey boy,
what they done, they sent me back to Bermondsey. This is the Church of England, to work in a youth club. Right. That I grew up in. Yeah. It was a Christian youth club. Yeah. So all of a sudden I started a church service. I went up to the fellow and went, look, I want to start a church service. So one Sunday we opened the doors to the church and there was a load of kids in the graveyard that's in the back of the church smoking dope and drinking alcohol. So I went up to them, I said, look, come into the church, come to church. They went, no, but I went, no, bring it all in. So all of a sudden, all these kids are all smoking dope and boozing in the church. But I didn't want that to get in the way, because I truly believed in the message. I thought, you know,
Good for you.
If you need to be saved, you need to be saved. That's what I thought in them days. You've got to be bad to get saved.
Yeah.
You can't be good to get saved, and that's the difference with Christianity. They're all good wanting to be saved. There ain't no badness that you have to save, and they go out on the streets and save them.
Yeah.
It's a self-indulgent pastime, Christianity.
Yeah.
And I'm venomous against it now. I hate it.
There's a rumour, has it, that you had a bit of a kerfuffle with the Archbishop. Is that right? Tell me about that.
No, he slung. When I was working with him, and they shut our, the work that we was doing, and I called him a, and he got his people to he was like a little bird. He was.
But what I mean, that's a big statement to make. To say I called the Archbishop a. I mean.
Well, he was a.
Well, that's it. So what I want to know is why was he a? Tell because
well,
people out there,
I understand that.
Listening to that are going to think, whoa.
Well, maybe that's a bit strong what I've just said there.
But I mean, give us the build up to that.
The build up was we started this thing with these young kids, right?
Yeah.
After 6 weeks, these young kids were coming in to listen to what we were saying,
yeah.
and they weren't drinking and they weren't smoking in the church. I never told them not to do that.
That happened.
They done it on their own thing. They got it in their own thing. I'm not a person that likes to tell people to do things. If they get the message, they get the message. If they don't get the message, if it carried on for 6 months, I would have had to because all
So from what you done, just naturally, them kids who came in with their smoke in their puff and their superintendents, whatever they was drinking, from them kids who come in, all of a sudden, naturally stopped.
Naturally stopped.
So it was working.
Well, it was working. It was working. I got 2 kids into a photography course.
Yeah.
Because I used to do drama with them.
Yeah.
I used to do that, that Christian drama, but this was naughty Christian drama. This was coming from my perspective, you know what I mean? This was naughty, really naughty, and they loved it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, one night, a couple of them threw, but the PCC, it's called, the Church Council, didn't really like what we was doing because we was a little bit sort of... Too edgy, too on the side, too real, really. And one day these kids come in and they started throwing tea bags at each other. And that was the reason that they took to shut the service down, a couple of tea bags. Now to me, the message is a little bit more dangerous than a couple of... And these were Bermondsey people, Rick. These were people that used to pray, that used to talk to you like me and you are talking now.
Yeah.
Close their eyes and pray like that. Heavenly Father.
Yeah.
They got the concept instead of the reality of it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I caused a big stink within the realms that I was working in.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Archbishop was paying me, and I had to go up and see him because he was my boss. And I decided then and then I wanted to go to war with Christianity anyway from that moment.
So you had
so calling him a was nothing to me.
Well, you can understand, it must have been so tormenting to think that you've gone out there, you've touched the real people.
They're dogs, mate.
Yeah.
They're dogs. There ain't no 2 ways about it. They're dogs. And I know what I'm saying now. They're dogs, mate.
Because of what they're doing.
I'm not saying that people... I'm not saying that I don't get in the way. Like what I always say to people, if you believe something's the truth, then it's the truth.
Yeah.
I can't ever go another Christian person.
No.
If
I'm a Christian.
I know you are, Rick.
Yeah.
I know you
Yeah.
are. I know you're
Yeah.
a Christian.
Yeah.
But you understand what I'm
I
saying.
understand. I can see. Should I tell you the reason why? Because for me, Christianity, the way I take it on is, I take what I feel is right from it. And what you just told me is totally wrong, and it's out of order. You've gone out there, to me, you've gone out there...
What, I'm out of order?
No, what they've done is out of order.
Yeah, they've done
because you was there, you was grassroots, you got hold of the real people who needed to be helped, like you said. You've made, and they've took it away. You've made a difference, and they've taken it away. And I can understand your anger and frustration is enough to make you want to call anyone a cunt, no matter who they are.
I was working with kids whose fathers were doing 20 years for armed robbery, and they was going down the same pipe. So I was the person that I would have wanted to met when I was their age. Yeah. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah. I was the person that could teach them the guitar, that can tell them to go to this and do all that, really, Rick. And there's a book out about my work.
Yeah.
They published a book. You know, it's called Gospel Exploded.
Okay.
Right, I wrote it with the vicar I was working with.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, when it all went bandy, I told them to take my name off the book. I don't want nothing to do with it, but it was too late. The book was published.
Okay.
So they got my name off, but the book, have a look at for it. Gospel Exploded. That was the work that we was doing, you know.
Okay.
And you know, I've adapted my own philosophy now, but I'm very anti-Christian, but I'm not anti-Christ.
No. Okay.
I'm not anti-Christ, and I don't know if I believe in God either. You know, I believe in the universe. I believe in the law of attraction.
I'm going to pull you right away from this now.
Go on.
I'm going to throw you a curveball.
Blinder though.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you, what's the most favourite bit of work you've done? What's your favourite bit of work you've done? Your favourite film?
My favourite film that I've ever done. Most enjoyable.
Yeah, the spin out and been out there.
I love The Business. The Business was one of the most enjoyable because we was all from the flats. Everyone in it was from the flats.
So it felt real, didn't it?
Everyone was in it from the flats, and we had 8 weeks out in Spain.
I know what the flats mean, but for
from
people out there, let's explain what the flats is.
Well, the flats are blocks of flats that we all used to live in. The council flats.
Yeah.
We call it the flats. You know, we come from the flats.
It's the same expression my side of the water.
Yeah.
And as you know, like I'm from the East End.
Yeah.
And you're from South London. And there's always been
Judas!
There's always been that talk. We got on lovely. It's so weird. I mean, as soon as I go over South London, as soon as I go through the pipe, it feels weird to me. And I know that from South London it does you. It's only a tiny different space. But what sum up that difference for South London and East London?
I fancy the South Londoners a little bit more cute than the East Londoners, to tell you the truth.
In what way?
And I don't know. I mean, it seems to me that all I'm talking about in South London is criminals, and they're not all criminals. You know, there's a lot of lovely people in. But we're all skinned. You know, we didn't have no money. No one had no money. No one had a penny. You know, and thieving and going out and get your own money. I know now it's wrong. And, you know, my kids ever done anything dishonest, I would go absolutely ballistic at it. But they ain't got it these days.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, you got to, it sounds terrible what I'm saying, really, you know. But I couldn't wait to fucking get out there, mate. I'd get out of it. You know, it was just oppression, you know, all the time.
Just to get away from the flats.
Just to get away from the flats, really.
Yeah, and it was the same my side of the wall, like I say. We had the flats and you know, there was that, anything to escape. And really a lot of people, I think I can speak for both of us, a lot of people we know, including ourselves to a certain extent, have been sort of victims of society. We had to do what we had to do to get out of there and to get any kind of recognition, any kind of self-worth. What was your upbringing like? Give me a little bit of that, Ed.
My old man was a getter, always had money, always had it, gambler. You know, my mum was absolutely fantastic. Upbringing was okay. It was okay, apart from little personal things that go on in life. It was all right. It was, never had no money.
No.
You know, 4 kids in them days. You know, my old man was a docker. He used to see what it was. My old man was a fiddler.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So it was in your blood?
Well, you saw it all day long, you know. You saw all your old man's mates coming around. I remember him and his mate coming in with a whole lamb on their shoulders once that they've had of a lorry. Yeah. You know, but the thing is, they put the lamb on the table, cut it up, and give it to every single person that was on the landing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They never kept it themselves. They filled the fridge up what they wanted to have. There was still sort of half a lamb left.
Yeah.
And they cut it up and give it to everyone in the flats, you know.
So they looked after people as well?
Well, that's what they used to do, didn't they? That's the difference, really.
That is the difference.
Rick,
I agree.
I mean, all these villains and all these people that do these bad, mad things, they all come from good stock.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not talking about my old man weren't an armed robber, he weren't that. He was a fiddler. He had 4 kids, you know, all needing shoes, all needing trousers. if your wages don't account for that, I don't think there was too much of a welfare state like they're getting these days.
Yeah.
You know.
Even now, that probably don't add up anyway. People
No.
have got to
People are
duck
skint.
and
They're
dive.
skint now. You know. People are skint.
Yeah.
And what do? Who are the people that are saying that what you're doing is wrong?
Yeah.
Are all the people that ain't never had to do that.
No.
You know.
So you've been on this journey, Ed. So Eddie Webber today, sitting here with me today, what's your ambitions? What do you want to do from here, Ed? What's your plan of action?
It's all to do with film again, Rick. Right? I've over the last couple of years, this Conservative government, these politicians, they're taking a lot of money out of film funding, out of the British film industry.
Yeah.
And what I would love to do, and what I'm in the process of doing, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'd like to try and get something together that the public can fund. I'd like to try and get a socialistic, communistic vibe around a film fund where we can actually get to the point where the public trust us enough to maybe all put £1 in each, to sort a movie out.
So your new website that you put together.
Well, I'm putting it together. It's I mean.
It's all about that, isn't it?
Well, it is all about that.
Tell us a little bit about that website, what it's called and what it's about.
Well, it's called A Good Idea.
Yeah.
And I've got a little group up at the moment.
agoodidea.com or?
agoodidea.com.
Okay.
Yeah, and I want to get to the point where that pound is split in 3 ways.
Yeah.
I truly want to put a percentage to a charity every month. So a percentage of that goes to a charity every month.
Yeah.
A percentage of that goes into a film fund, and another percentage goes into the administration of running a company.
Right,
There is no profit thing, no matter what people think. All I want to do is make movies, make good movies, give new writers an opportunity to not fall on these bastards on their knees in front of these
casting
mugs.
Yeah, and all that.
Yeah,
I understand what you're saying.
I'm quite angry about it, because I know the talent that's out there, Rick.
Okay.
And if we can get a national film fund governed however the people want it governed, totally transparent, totally for the people, I can't see that being a bad thing.
No. I want to ask you a favour now. So, we spoke quite a bit about your band and it all starting from getting that guitar, got your juices going from when you was 12 years old. So, if people are going to come watch your blues band, what you got going.
You got a guitar, haven't you?
I've got a guitar.
You got a guitar!
I ain't got any guitar, no. I got in touch with Ali. She's got your guitar, so I've set you up. So will you do a little bit?
I'll do a song that I wrote, yeah?
Do a little song.
I'll do a little song I wrote.
Perhaps we might either intercut it or whatever.
All right, whatever, yeah. Where's the guitar?
It's over there, look.
Who can get it? Can someone get it?
Yeah.
You gonna get up and get it?
All right.
Yeah, I knew this would come out of the bag. All right, this is a little. I'll tell you what I'll tell you the story behind this.
All right.
My mate lost his wife.
Right.
That's a bit heavy. I know. Right, no, I won't even go in. All right, I'll do it.
No, tell me the story behind it. I'm interested.
Well, my mate lost his wife, and I was, I don't know, I just felt I wanted to write something down. Okay. And he was with his wife for years and years, and she lost her baby as well, and it was a right tragic thing, so I wrote a tragic song. Okay. I can sing you,
no, go on.
Happy birthday to you or something now.
No, do an Eddie Webber, do what you do, Ed. That's what it's about.
Every time I see your face, reminds me of a time and place where we used to sit and hold our heads up high. Sunday walks along the path, swings and roundabouts and children having laughs. We smile and breathe the air. Or day long we spoke of love. Me a hand and you its velvet glove. Making plans along the way to come out on a rainy day. Now the days are cold and long, no more loving, no more tender song to keep us on our way. I close my eyes and there's no sleep. I see your face on all the sheep as they crumble to the ground. All day long we spoke of love. The hand got broken, blood spilled on the glove. Making plans along the way, and now I'm on my own again. Take me away, take me away, take me back to yesterday, where I sit alone and pray. Take me back to yesterday. Summertime, summertime, summertime has been and gone. Every time I see your face, reminds me of a time and place where we used to sit and hold our heads up high.
Not bad for a boy from the flats.
The flats!